know you ain't a man when you treat your woman like that. How can you come out of a body that you grow up to curse? How could you look to your mother and consider her inferior to you? There's something wrong with you. You are not the measure of man that I wish to measure my manhood by. And so when Africans were brought here to this part of the world, post 1619, you can go back. Brother Tariq is going back 1526.
Yeah.
I can go back 1492.
Right.
I can go back 1482 with Cristobal Colon on the west coast of Africa. But that's a story for another day.
Right.
When we were brought here, one of the things that's missing is the fact that the great majority of us did not come directly to the United States. The very first people that brought Africans here were the Spaniards.
It's true.
And they peopled the Caribbean, Central and South America, Arizona, Florida, Texas, parts of Los Angeles. Look at the words. People talking about they have a problem with Spanish. But where you live, San Francisco, Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Okay? Florida. You're speaking Spanish. See, they stuck in stupid.
That's right.
They really are.
Yeah.
And so when they brought us here, and I'm looking at the British, the Dutch from Holland, the French, when they brought us here, they knew our capabilities because the Moors were the ones that taught them how to get on the water in the first place by building boats. And they also found navigational tools that Moors had that taught them how to do it. So they knew we were good people. But in order to take land, in order to control a people, you have to take three things from them: their history, their language, their psychological factor. Psychological factor is your values, your interests, and your principles. Going back to George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, okay? When you live in the George Washington houses and proud to say, I live in George Washington houses, that's the Washington plantation. I grew up in the Amsterdam plantation, the Dutch. When they brought us here, they had to neutralize us from human beings. The 3/5 clause that everybody's talking about that made black people 3/5 of a man, that had nothing to do with black people. That was for the landowners. Because the amount of votes you got was according to your property.
It's true.
And so for the plantation owners to make sure that they always maintained power, when they were counting their cows and their sheep and their dogs and all the things they owned, they said, we want to count black people too. So the law was, okay, for every 5 Africans that you have 3 votes. That's the 3/5. It had nothing to do with them seeing us as 3/5 of a human. Wow. That law was passed for the landowners to be able to have votes. And by the way, that concept is actually the Electoral College. Wow. That's how you know this ain't a democracy. Democracy means people power. Republica means for the public. Both of them have something to do with people, and neither of them carry out what they say. When Greece had their empire, 85% of Greeks were enslaved. So much for democracy.
Wow.
So much for it now. It's called dichotomous logic. Dichotomous logic. Philippe Matthews interviewed and spoke to Dr. Edwin Nichols. I encourage everybody, check that out, where Dr. Edwin Nichols breaks down dichotomous logic. D-I-C-H-O-T-A-M-U-S. T-O-M-U-S. Dichotomous. It could be an A. Dichotomous. D-I-C-H-O-T-A-M-U-S. Dichotomous logic. Here's dichotomous logic. This is the example he gives. You have a peaceful group of protesters attacked by violent police. A few months later, up the block, you have violent protesters attacking peaceful police.
Yeah.
How does that work out? How could that be? That's dichotomous logic. When two people can be looking at the same act and come to two totally different conclusions about what they're looking at.
Wow.
This is who we're dealing with. So when they brought us here, we were not supposed to be men. We could not be men. Can you imagine me on a plantation talking to my children and my wife? I would have more power than the plantation owner. I could not be a man. Because if I ever showed any influence over that plantation, he would sell me, maybe even kill me.
Yeah.
I was not allowed to be a man. And then you got the brown paper bag test, where if you had one slave that you enslaved, and then you raped her, she brought forward a child, you then would put a paper bag over the mother and son and have them engage in an act so they did not know that it was mother and son in the relationship, or father and daughter, or cousins, or whatever. This is who we're dealing with. This is what our existence was. And also, I'd also like to talk about black love on the plantation.
Please.
And I got to give my brother Nate respect for his film that he made, Birth of a Nation.
Yeah.
The story of Nat Turner.
Yeah.
There's a scene in that movie that moved me, man. It just moved me. It made me extremely sad, but extremely proud. And that is when the scene where the European man who's visiting this plantation owner wants to pleasure one of the African women.
Yeah.
And she's brought up to the house. Her husband, her man, whatever that relationship is, he's right at the house. He looks up at the window. He knows what's going on up there. I'm just thinking about my wife. And, you know, Nate did a great job in depicting this concept. After the deed is done, she comes out and she runs into his arms. That's black love, brother. That's black love, that that sister could override the devious nastiness of that European man and still value her man. And for that man to open his arms, to hug her and to let her know no matter what happened up there, it ain't nothing like what we got, baby. That was a very powerful scene. When you're talking about the demasculinization of a man, to strip that man, to buck break that man, to make him feel so powerless that he has not only does he have no power over his own destiny, he does not have power over other people that look like his destiny. Yet that black love pertained, and it stayed. That's what I celebrated. The sadness was what I felt personally for what he must have felt.
Yeah.
To live that type of life is quite powerful. And so with that lack of power, okay, 1865, so to speak, July 18th, 1865, so to speak, Africans are free. But they are hoodwinked, bamboozled, because President Johnson, that followed Lincoln, took back everything That was the hope of the future. Forget the 40 acres and a mule. Forget your freedom. We're going to put you in a system. And this system now has grown into what Malcolm spoke about when his family was broken up and put in the foster home. And they were broken up. Remember, the strongest aspect of a nation is the strength of the family.
Yeah.
And a nation is only as strong as its weakest family. Mm. And so it became part of the game that the man of the house had to leave the house when the social worker came because she had applied for public assistance.
True.
So the children were able to see, Daddy ain't got no power.
Mm.
This woman or man of European descent to come up in this house, they got the power. I ain't got no power. I am powerless. So it was encouraged for a man not to be in his home. And also it was because of the nature of him being a buck, it was his job to produce children, but don't take responsibility for them.
Mm.
Now, family, I am not making excuses for what may be happening today. What I'm doing is I'm offering reasons for us to begin to have the kind of dialogue with each other, to take into consideration the intergenerational and the transgenerational pain that we have been through as a people of being stripped of our power. When Derek Chauvin was on the neck of George Floyd, and he looked in the camera with that look on his face, he was saying, I am buck breaking you.
Yep.
I am going to kill them, and ain't nothing you going to do.
Yep.
Of course, now, that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because they living in a pastime paradise. You're not going to get away with what you used to get away with.
That's right.
And with this younger generation, there's something that I remembered that young lady said, and so did that brother who was an MMA fighter.
Yep.
He said they felt hopeless to help him. They said they wanted to help him. George Floyd. In generations to come, they will help him.
Mm.
You're not going to do this forever. You're not going to do this. There's going to come a time when black folk are going to put a Derek Chauvin in check.
That's right.
And push him off George Floyd.
That's right.
There's going to come a time when they're going to do a little bit more than that. So what I tell white folk is, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself. Because you living in a pastime paradise. Black folk ain't going to take this forever. Even though we are not where we should be, we are not where we used to be. And even though it may be hard to deal with this, things are getting better. It may not be obvious, but speak to some of the elders. Times are changing. They're not. We are.
That's right.
Times are changing.
That's right.
And there's going to come a time when they're not going to be able to do this. And they will not do this, and they will be fearful of it. And remember, European people do not hate you. They fear you. From that fear comes a defensive mechanism of the fear of being replaced.
Yeah.
And the more violent they are to you, the more fearful of you they are. Don't ever forget that. Because when I used to teach children, I used to tell them, they say, Brother Kaba, why do white people hate black people? I said, they don't hate you. They fear you. Because here's the way a child mind works. If they hate me, what did I do to make them hate me?
Right.
If they fear you, who am I to be that great that they fear me? It's two different ways of looking at it. But psychologically, as it relates to the psychological factor, it has a dramatic impact on a child's psyche. So we have to be careful with our words. Because children say, wow, I never thought of it like that. And I would always say, well, start thinking like it like that.
That's right. That's right.
Understand who you are. Your melanated self scares people. They understand genetic annihilation. That's what Francis Cress Welsing taught us.
Yeah.
They understand when you walk in an elevator and there's a whole bunch of them in the elevator, they stop talking. See, we get very defensive. We think that there's something wrong with us. The problem is that when you walked on that elevator, all the light in the elevator came down on your melanated skin. You took the light out of the room. When you walk, I'm talking science now.
Yes, sir.
Because melanin attracts light. And even though the light bulbs and the lights that we're experiencing are artificial light, it is still light that's coming through electricity and magnetism to create the light in. When you walk into a room with your melanated self, and the deeper melanated you are, the quicker and more light you absorb and capture. And why everybody look at you and why everybody get quiet is they say, who turned out the light?
Yes, sir.
Because it's not on them anymore.
Wow.
But we don't understand this because we've been taught to think there's something wrong with us. And Philippe Matthews says, ain't nothing wrong with black people. Something happened to black people. And we should always remember that. They don't hate you. Hate is a reaction, but they don't hate you. Hate is their reaction of the fear they have of you because, as Public Enemy said, they have a fear of a black planet. And do you know when they wrote that song? Do you know they were taking a cab ride with Francis Cress Welsing in Washington, D.C.?
Wow.
And she was telling them about genetic annihilation.
Wow. Wow.
And after that, Chuck D and Public Enemy wrote the album Fear of a Black Planet. That is as applicable today as it was back then.
Wow.
As it was back in 1492, as it was when Africans were in Europe. It's been like that from time immemorial because black folk are the archetype of the human family. Plants were born to be green, humans were born to be black. Science, not personal. Not talking superiority or inferiority. Ain't talking good or bad. I'm talking science. I'm talking about a dominant gene and a recessive gene. Black folk got the dominant gene, and European and Asian got the recessive gene. Black woman can produce every type of human in the world, but European and Asian cannot. Don't hate us because we beautiful, fam.
I love it.
We just got it like that. We
it.
just don't know it. And once we know it, it changes. Because when you know better, you do better.
That's right. That's right.
And your generation has to understand this, brother. To the young people, respect and love for you. I so respect and honor you. No matter what is happening, I respect and I honor what you're doing. I understand what's happening and I'm with you. But I want you to know something. It's going to get better.
That's right.
No matter what you see happening out here, we're going to make it happen because it ain't over till we win.
That's right.
But we got to keep on keeping on. But I just want you to know that when you're in this, coming up out of this pandemic or whatever it is, coming up out of watching our people being murdered at the hands of these evil people, a change is going to come. In fact, a change is already here. As we speak, we're in the process of it. And the fact that you, my brother Caleb, and I are having this conversation, and there's about 162 people and more once you post this, we are in the process of making it better by having these types of conversations. And I'll be with you forever. To the younger generation, I'm with you. I'm proud of you. No matter what happens, considering what has happened to us and what you have inherited, I think you're doing a mighty good job.
We appreciate that, Elder. And my second to last question, it's been a great conversation. Right now, during this time, black women feel unheard, black men feel unheard, misunderstood. How do we bridge that gap and stop fighting amongst each other and get back to our ways of old, of loving each other, having that family structure? How do we do it?
Know yourself. What Once you know yourself, everything changes.
Mm.
Once you know I'm not talking about know yourself and then you still don't like who you are.
Yeah.
Understand your history. Understand that what has happened to us as a people, there is no human group. Let's just use the word cultural group. There is no cultural group that has gone through what Africans that were brought to America have experienced. The love, the depth of our love, in Kush we call mer, M-E-R, mer. Mer is the type of internal spiritual love that you have for yourself and others that cannot be described. You can't. In fact, we say it sometimes. I love you so much, words could never describe.
That's right.
That love, that unconditional love. We've been hardened, Caleb, some, to protect ourselves. The hardest hurt equals the hardest hard.
Mm.
The hardest hurt equals the hardest heart. Throughout my career, when I came up against young brothers that was calling me every type of Emma, Effa, son of a B, you know,
Mm.
I used to tell them, yo, brother, I sure am happy I'm not the one that got you mad. You know, because like you just came in my classroom talking like that. And I said, what I say? Tell me what I say, man. And I used to talk to them. I said, what did I say? Now, you know what you said. If someone said that to you, you would not feel good. Okay, now you said that to me. What did I do to make you say that? And then they would start to think, no, I'm mad at X or Y or this or that. I'm not mad at Brother Kaba or Brother Booker T. He didn't do nothing to me. I'm just taking it out on him because he's the first person I see.
Mm.
And I never held it against them. They could come in and talk to me like that in the morning, and I'd be talking good talk to them in the afternoon.
Wow.
I never held grudges. I'm like a referee in a basketball game.
Mm.
If you foul, you're going to get penalized.
Good example.
But I ain't going to hate you for it. I'm a referee. I'm supposed to watch you. If you do something wrong, I'm going to correct you.
Mm.
I ain't going to hate you. I'm going to say, you stupid player, why you do it? I'm just going to say, traveling.
Yeah.
Foul. But I'm not going to take it personal. I never took things personal with the children. So that, you know, my thing is, we have to understand how sacred we are. See, my thing is, and again, I go back to the books that I wrote. The purpose was for you to find the divinity within you. Instead of all the things they told you that you are and who you are. With all of that said, the real question is, like sometimes I've done presentations, right? And I'm on a panel with people that are not really very supportive of me, let's say, right? And they say, who the hell do you think you are? And I say, that's not important. Who I think I am is not important. Who you think I am is important. And that's pretty important to me because obviously you have fear in your heart in my presence. Because you wouldn't have said that. Because I don't care about you. I don't care how you think. Your opinion of me is personal. And I'd appreciate if you keep your personal business to yourself. We have to learn how to love ourselves, brother.
Yes, sir.
We have to learn how to respect ourselves as a man and as a woman. We have to respect ourselves and understand that we are born princes and princesses in waiting to become kings and queens. And that king and queen is not by inheritance. That king or queen is by your actions. It is by you thinking ma'at, speaking ma'at, and doing ma'at. And ma'at is truth and justice, balance and harmony, order and arrangement, and reciprocity, to understand what goes around comes around. You shall reap what you sow. And what's happening in America, they are reaping what they have sown, and they can't help themselves because they are arrogantly ignorant.
That's right.
And they're living in a pastime paradise. And they're attempting to speak to us in 2021 like they spoke to us in 1821. I'm not your Negro.
That's right.
There's a new person on the block here.
Yes, sir.
And you ain't getting past me here. Not on my watch. And not to the children. Because I'm going to tell the children the truth. I've done that all my life. I paid their price for it. But I maintained my manhood. I maintained my self-respect. There were other things that I could have achieved. But if I had to give up my manhood, it wasn't worth it.
That's right.
Like I say, I've always wanted my wife and my children, my family, and my community to be proud of me and to act with what Malcolm called sincerity. Malcolm said that he could disagree with somebody totally, but he would respect them if they were sincere. The word I use is authentic. Black folk know authenticity when they hear it and see it.
That's right.
Don't try to get past me. I'll let you slide. I won't call you on it. But I got my eye on you. You're not authentic. You're not sincere. And in my life, you're only going to get but so far.
That's right.
I may never let you know that because of who you are. But if you ain't authentic, it ain't working. It ain't working. And this is where we've been for years. We all sitting up here and we're watching what's going on. We watched this 100 years ago. We watched this 200 years ago. We watched this 300 years ago. I ain't got nothing else to learn about them. And ain't nothing they can teach me. And now that the other cultural groups are being attacked, we told you this 50 years ago. We told you join us. Join us in our protest with Dr. Martin Luther King. Join us with Malcolm X with his human rights. Join us. Oh, no. I'm a good American.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you are, huh? Okay. Listen, wake up. They come after us at night because they're coming after you during the day. There is going to come a time where they will forbid you to come to this country because of your religion. There's going to come a time when they are going to build a wall to keep you from traveling north. There is a time that they're going to blame you for a virus that came to this country. They, oh, no, I don't think that's going to happen. We're going to be good Americans. No. And so now my message to my brothers and sisters of African Americans, and here's my perspective. Anybody of any culture, of religion, who is innocent and is attacked or murdered, I'm absolutely against that. No matter who you are. I'm against that. But I'm not joining your organization. Because you young in this game. We black folk been fighting this 402 years. I'm not joining you. You're going to join us. We gave you a chance 50 years ago. You didn't join us then. Now you're in this situation now, of which I feel for you. If anybody understands what's happening to the people that are being attacked because of their religion or their culture, it's black folk.
That's right.
Because we've been at the receiving end of this for 402 years, before y'all were even in this country. But you are my brothers and sisters. But I'm not joining your group. You join mine. I know what I'm doing. You don't. And the reason why I know you don't is because you're experiencing this now. Because if you had listened to us 50 years ago, you wouldn't be going through this right now.
That's right.
Now you come on our protest, when we are marching, you march with us. Okay, when we appear in Congress or when we appear outside of a state office building demanding our rights, you show up. Because if you don't show up, they're only going to get you. Because guess what? They know that if you want to destroy the ability of melanated people to advance in America, no matter where they come from, be you an Afrab, because, you know, to be an Afrab, you got to be African. That's what makes you an Arab.
Right.
Okay. Be you a Muslim, or be you a brother or sister of Spanish-speaking background or Mayan, because, you know, there are people coming up from Guatemala and El Salvador that don't speak Spanish. They speak a Native American dialect.
Wow.
Not all people in Central South America speak Spanish.
Wow.
In fact, the largest language spoken in South America is Portuguese, not Spanish.
Wow.
And so when you look at the dynamics of this, what I'm saying to all the melanated people, be you from the continent, the Caribbean, Central South America, Asia, you come sit at our feet now. Because we're going to help you get out of the mess that you in. And maybe now, after 60, 50 years, maybe now you understand. Because you see, they call Afrabs, they call them sand ends, if I may use the word end. I don't want to use the term. Sand ends. That's what they call them.
Wow.
They call people who we call Hispanic or Spanish-speaking peoples, they call them Spanish-speaking ends. And they call Asians ends with slanted eyes.
Wow.
You know what Jay-Z said? Rich N, poor N, smart N.
You still won. Yeah.
You're still an N.
Yeah.
Okay? Don't ever forget that from their perspective.
Yeah.
Not reality.
Yeah.
And I've always understood that. And so when I approach the situation, I approach it from a perspective that you may think that of me, but you ain't going to get away with it in this conversation. See, because I'm not about bullshit. Wait now. You don't have to, you know, bleep that word. Because I spell that Bullship. Bullshit as opposed to scholarship. And on this boat, I'm the skipper of scholarship. Own your square.
That's right.
What you can do, own your square. Own everywhere that you walk. Own that spot that your foot touches. And carry it like that. Create that image. When people look at you, the first thing they see is your color. The second thing they see is your gender. The third thing they see is your gait, G-A-I-T, the way you walk, the way you stand. The fourth thing they see is your speech, what you say, and how you say it. And so in realizing this, when you walk the street, understand how people are looking at you. Is he black, male, female? Stand up straight, pants hanging off his butt. But, you know, like I told you before, I think I told you this before, that young people are walking around with their butt hanging out or their pants because they're telling the elders, you've been walking around here with your ass showing for so long, I decided to show mine. Because whatever the problems are today, I take full responsibility for them. This society that exists is because of the elders. Don't be asking me about what's wrong with the young people. That's why I carry around a mirror with me. I really do carry around a mirror.
Wow.
And when people say that to me, I always take the mirror out. It's a small mirror, round mirror. I just tell you want to know what's wrong with the children? Look here. This is what's wrong. You. The fact that you said that means there's something wrong with you. It's like talking into a tape recorder and then playing it back. And then you don't like what you hear. Well, how can you not like what you hear? It's your voice. You know, everybody's getting tripped over. These young people are using that N-word all over. But who taught them that N-word? Who taught them the B word? Did they invent that word just now? They heard it from you. And whether you approve of using it or not, is not a point. I tell people, you know, you need to go to my YouTube and check out my discussion on the origin of the N word to understand it for what it is. But self-knowledge leads to self-management, which is self-discipline. Self-discipline leads to social knowledge or understanding other people. Social knowledge leads to social management. We call it leadership. And I've always used that in staff development to see where you are. If you know, let's say that, you know, discipline. I mean, I just don't have good discipline. Well, do you know yourself? Because if you knew yourself, you'd be able to do discipline. And then you say, man, I just don't understand my coworkers. Well, are you disciplined? And if you're disciplined or not disciplined, then that's why you don't understand people. And then when you know people, it leads you to be able to interact with them, that they will be managed by you or leadership. And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about everyday people. They could be equal in stature, but when you talk to people, leadership, you're a teacher. So it's self-knowledge, self-management, social knowledge, social management. But when you do that, Brother Caleb, you then create the relationship with your sisters. And if a sister is acting inappropriately in a way that you do not deem it to be showing her best qualities, talk to her. Compliment her and tell her how wonderful she is. But you know, sister, you don't have to do that. Here's what you got. You're beautiful. You're intelligent. And if a sister's with a brother that's not as appropriate, but has a good heart, talk to him. Explain to him, you know, I really like being around you, but there are certain things that we may have to work out here. Because honesty is the best policy, but respectful.
Yeah.
And not taking out on people all of our ingrained hostilities that we carry in us. And if somebody hurts you, no matter how they may hurt you, don't hold everybody else accountable for what that person did to hurt you.
That's right.
Because the most wonderful person may have entered your life the day you got rid of the one that hurt you. And that's the one you were meant to be with. But if you treat him or her the way he or she treated you, then that's a second failed relationship and you don't even know it. Don't hold people accountable for what other people do. If by chance that second person does the same thing, then you go on to the third one.
Yeah.
I taught my daughters, and I taught my son, but I taught my daughters in particular because of the conditions that we are in this society. I said, my main thing that I wanted young people to know, what's important is not how you feel about your counterpart. What's important is how you feel about yourself. Because you're not going to let somebody treat you a certain way.
Yeah.
If it's not appropriate for you.
Yeah.
You're not going to let them do that. You're going to realize I could do better by myself. I really don't need this aggravation right now.
Yeah.
It's how you feel about yourself. And if I'm telling you that you're royal, that you're a princess and you're a prince, princesses don't get treated that way. You got to cut that stuff loose if you can't build on it. I'm not just saying cut them loose. I'm saying if it's workable and you can get them to adjust to their appropriateness, that they don't know how great they are. If you can do that, do that. But the first thing is we got to stop fighting amongst ourselves. The only way to do that is to know who you are. And if you understand that you are the creator having a human experience, and the second cosmic commandment is that you are to treat the creator's creations the way in which you treat yourself and the creator within you, there are certain things you wouldn't do to another person. Because if you did it to them, reciprocity, Ma'at says, it's going to come back on you.
That's facts.
And you would have to be psychologically deranged to do something purposefully, knowing that it was going to come back on you. Self-knowledge. Know who you are, not just as an African. Know who you are as a human being. What's your divine gift? What have you been given? What makes you different from other people? That gift that you've been given. No one else got that. And even if someone does the same thing you do, they don't do it like you.
That's right.
What is it that you have that makes you like that? Build on that. And as you build on that greatness, you then can see the greatness in other people. And you would not want to fight. First of all, you wouldn't want to fight them because you see their greatness. But second, you don't want to fight them because you're too busy trying to get yourself together.
That's right.
Caleb, I belong to a very special club. I know I told you this before.
Yeah.
The name of the club is I Mind My Own Damn Business.
Yes, sir.
Because the day I started minding my own damn business was the day I came to realize how much business I had to mind. I don't see how people could be getting up in other people's business because I'm so busy. I wish there were more hours in a day, more days in a week.
That's right. That's right.
And I pray to live to at least 198 years of age. And even then, I'm not going to accomplish everything I want.
That's right.
So how am I going to get up in your business? I will help you if I can. If you come to me, I will. But I don't have time to get in people's business.
That's right.
I'm too busy trying to take care of my own.
That's right, Doctor.
Hope I answered your question, brother, because that was a very important question.
Thank you.
And it's something we all need to contemplate.
Yes, sir. You most definitely answered.
We are the creator having a human experience, brother. We are a beautiful people. We are a powerful people. We are wonderful. But we got to cast aside that white God and embrace our African spirituality. You are free. What Boukman and Mambo Cecile meant was, is not like, they didn't say you will be free. You could be free. You should be free. You might be free. They said you are free. Once you cast aside that white God and embrace your African spirituality. When somebody can make you ashamed of your God and proud of theirs, they don't have to enslave you. You're already enslaved.
It's heavy. Wow. Wow. Elder, my very last question. You dropped so many gems. This was such a great discussion. What is the biggest lesson that my generation can learn from yours regarding W.A.P, how to carry ourselves as men, and also how to carry ourselves as women?
Know yourself. Love yourself. I'm going to give you the same assignment that Dr. Clark gave me when I was 12 and a half and I first met him. They brought us up to Harlem. Some of the old heads brought us up to Harlem. I had just finished the 7th grade. It was the end of June. And they brought us up to this presentation because they used to put us on their handlebars and they would take us different places in Harlem. These are brothers that are maybe 15, 16, 17, sisters too. We all had crushes on the sisters, you know. We used to all get all kind of fuddy-duddy when we were in their presence. And, you know, they knew it and they got a kick out of it, you know. And, hey, how you doing, brother? Oh, I'm doing all right. They would bring us up to places to speak. And this one day they brought us up and we sat in front of this brother, right there in front of him. And it was Professor John Henry Clark. He was 51. I was 12 and a half.
Wow.
And he said to us at the end, when we were there, he said, here's your homework assignment. I want you to go home and I want you to go into the bathroom and I want you to look in the mirror. This is what I want us all to do every day now. It's a homework assignment. I'm a teacher. I can't help it.
Yes, sir.
And I want you to look at the person in the mirror and tell that person, I love you. And mean it. Because if you can't do that, there is nothing anyone else can do for you. You must love yourself. When you look in the mirror, you must love your complexion, the texture of your hair, the width of your nose, the thickness of your lips. your pigmentation, and your body. And for all of the people that want to make adjustments to their body, like going on diets and things like that, for all of you who want to look a certain way, when you're looking at that person, don't say, I hate how I look. Say, I love how I look, but I could look better. Because when you love yourself, you will do what's necessary to make you who you were born to be.
That's right.
And we got to feel that, family. We have to be honest with loving ourselves. And we don't have to add no skin here or take skin there or do anything. All we got to do is follow the laws of nature, eat properly, moderation in the things that we eat. Be careful of the things that we ingest and how much we ingest it. But most importantly, we got to love ourselves.
That's right.
We have to love everything about us. My children used to get a kick out of me because I told them this story, you know, and they would all, like, when they were ready to go to school and I was going to go to work and our times were passing, I'd be in a bathroom and I'd look in the mirror and I'd see them in the door and I'd blow myself a kiss, say, I love you. They laugh, they think it's a joke, but to this day, they'll tell you those stories.
Wow.
Because I wanted them to see I was practicing what I told you I want you to do. I love myself. I love everything about me. And if there's anything that needs to be improved, I will know it. And if I don't know it, let me know it with respect. And I will do what is necessary. If that's accurate, I will adjust my way. Because I'm not looking for my way. I'm looking for the way.
That's right.
And the way, think ma'at, speak ma'at, do ma'at. Love yourself. Know that you are the creator having a human experience. And know that you are to treat the creator's creations as you treat the creator within you. That will open up the stargate to all things necessary.
That's right. Thank you, Elder, again for such a great conversation. Always welcome to come back on the show, of course. And also, where can everybody, Shabaka Stone, donate, show love, support? I just bought it, so where can everybody support you and buy your products?
Well, first, may I say to go to my website,
Yes,
www.kabakamene.com, KABAKAMENE.com. Download my free e-course and study guide. If you're interested in my books, they're on Amazon. The first book is a story of Professor William Leo Hansberry. I wrote a book on his life. He is the one that introduced the African-centered curriculum in an accredited college. He's the first person to do Black studies back in 1923.
Wow.
My second book is Spirituality Before Religions. That goes deep. And it answers that question you just asked me. Where do we go from here?
Yeah.
How do we understand who we are as a people? I take you back before religions existed, to when spirituality ruled the world, where people lived by nature's rules. Spirituality. Spirituality is unseen science. Science is seen spirituality. I just published my third book, Shabaka Stone. It tells of the origin of the universe, and you will be able to find every chapter of the Old and New Testament. You'll find the surahs of the Quran of Islam. You'll find, okay, the Old Testament is the 5 books of Moses, the Torah. I show you where it came from in Africa. Shabaka Stone, a rewritten version of a much older document that tells of the creation of the cosmic universe and the ascendance of the creator on earth. You can go to Amazon.com. And then, of course, you know, my daddy say, since you said it, my daddy say, never turn down. You know, my daddy used to say, I'm too much of a gentleman to turn down such a kind offer. But my thing is business. Like Jay-Z say, I'm a business man.
Yeah.
And so on my website, I have a lot of different products for nominal price, $1.99 to stream, 99 cents. I've got things that are zero, that are free for the community. And it's meant to be free. because I realize the times we're living in.
Yeah.
There's certain things that I need our community to understand. There are things that I believe the community should know. And I don't want to make money the difference between being able to get it and not. But if you should be so inclined, my Cash App is $ Kaba Kamene 7. $, capital K, lowercase ABA, uppercase K, lowercase AMENE, number 7. $ Kaba Kamene 7. But please keep in mind the products that I have on my website. There's a lot of information there. And the most precious thing I have is my study guide. That's free. Because that is what I want you to have. It's not about money. I'm not trying to make a killing. I'm just trying to make a living in order to continue this work.
That's right.
And I don't want to have to go into my family money in order to do what I got to do for my community. So whatever I receive is returned back to you through the work that I do. Brother Caleb, brother, I respect you. And I love you, my younger brother, my son, and to all those that are listening. I am so proud of you.
Thank you,
and what you're doing.
Thank you.
To take this serious, to do this for our community. You'll never be alone, brother. You got ancestors protecting you.
Thank you.
And on this earth, although I don't need to say it, I'm going to say it anyway. I got your back.
Thank you, Elder.
But Dr. Clark used to say, Africans never went around telling people I'm my brothers and sisters' keeper. They just kept them. And so I don't go around telling people I got your back. Right. I just got your back.
That's right.
So thank you for all the work that you're doing, my brother Caleb.
Thank you.
You're doing great work. And I pray and hope and I know that the community appreciates what it is that you're trying to do. And together, as younger and elder, brothers and sisters, we are going to get to the promised land. We may have some difficult days ahead.
That's right.
But we as a people are going to get to the promised land because we're going to keep on keeping on because we know it ain't over till we win.
That's right. Wow. Thank you. Elder, we love you. We honor you. We appreciate you. You keep doing what you're doing. Shabaka Stone, I can't wait to read it. So thank you for everything. Thank you.
It ain't over till we win, brother.
Yes, sir.
Keep on keeping on.
Yes, sir. I say.
Hotep family.
Hotep.
And to all those that came on, thank you.
Yes, sir.
For your time.
Yes.
Where I'm coming from right now, there's something that I know. Time is the most precious thing that we have. There will never be another May 8th, 2021. Once you live it, you spent it. And once you spent it, you can't get it back.
Yes, sir.
How you spend your time is critical. You can get more money. You can buy more houses. You can get all the sneakers in the world. But you ain't going to get no more time.
That's right. So
thank you for your time. Thank you for tuning in and finding this conversation interesting enough to keep on hanging in there with us. Amen. Hotep family.
Hotep. I'll make sure to send this to you once it's posted on YouTube. I got you. All right, Elder.
That's good. And I'm going to put it up on my Instagram too, brother, because you do quality work.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Elder. I say, Hotep.
All power to the people. All power to the people.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Elder.